What's going on, traders? I hope you're here to talk about AMC and car, of course, ripping through the moon. We'll talk all about it right here on Money Mitch. Check some hot sectors, see what's out there moving, and of course, like always, find the story stocks, hit the like button. Welcome to Money
It's
Mitch.
time for Money Making Mitch. When investors need a story, we're going to the moon. Welcome to Money Mitch, where story is everything. I'm here to find you the next opportunity. It's all about the green hands. Now, we all know the bull market is here to stay. Money Mitch.
What's going on, team? I don't know if my voice is right or wrong. I have no idea. I mean, at the end of the day, it's been a tough one for me right now, fixing up my mic. That's why I had to restart it. Uh, Deep Talking Mitch, looks like, oh, yep, looks like we're on uh, the Darth Mitch. So you guys going to get some fun. I hope you enjoy this show because to tell you the truth, I'm almost. I honestly, I probably wouldn't be streaming right now if it wasn't for you guys out there. Because really, if it was up to me right now, I would just probably shut down. But whatever. I'm just gonna go into the market. Let's see what we're seeing out there, and just get through the show. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the SPY. SPY moving on up here now to 460s. Man, the SPY does not want to even take a rest. We thought that we'd get a little chop session. We got a kind of indulgy candle, and then another strong day in the SPY. And if you can see, the money flow has actually turned around really fast. If you guys see up here, this is the money flow. Look how this is turned around right back up there towards the top there, showing you that the bulls are still strong right now. We'll see if it continues. All right, so the Qs not doing bad at all. They're now pushing on, keeping the trend going. Also, the same thing. Look at the money flow. Look how this is reversed and continued moving on up. We'll keep an eye out on these. Melly having a good day, good bounce back. This is a stock I do like going into the winter months. You could see this one doing well, especially with kind of supply shortages and seeing this one move up. And one that I'm in right now, guys, similar to this is Wayfair. Wayfair, I'm still in this one. Good recovery day. It came down right to the lows, got almost stopped me out because I'm down here towards 238, but it came right back on up there. So good close there for Wayfair. We'll see if this one can start going trending back up. OSTK is similar area where I'm expecting this one to hit what 100, and there you go, guys. There you go. This was a stock brought to you guys right here on Money Mitch. I've been talking about OSTK for a while. I've drawn out these circles before. I said I was looking for a move towards 100. That's exactly what we got today. From this level, I think the next stop is 120, but we're going to have to go ahead and pay attention to this stock, but definitely overstock. Beautiful day for overstock. I like to see this one move, and it's going to continue moving. As you guys can see, the RSI getting on up there, pushing on up, and ADX just crossing on over, showing us some momentum. Let's see if this can really start pushing on up there towards the 30. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the sectors. What did we see out there? Of course, industrials kept leading us. That's probably the strongest one right now. As you guys can see, we had a small pullback, but a push up. Of course, this was a lot to do with the leading stock, up 116% right now. We'll talk all about car coming on up, but definitely that's why you see rental and leasing services up about 11%. So we'll see how this changes, but diversified industrials, not looking too bad. And you could also look at staffing and outsourcing services. Let's go ahead and take a look. What other stocks looked good? Technology didn't do too bad. There was a couple of stocks that were moving in technology. One that I was looking at to see how I was going to move today was, of course, Coin was one of the ones that I was watching. It's continued the trend. Coinbase now pushing on up there through the 340s. The stock that I was going to take a look at was Tesla. Let's see how Tesla did today. Looks like it's holding up there. pulled back for a little bit there. This is an off exchange order, but really kind of sideways here. We'll see if this can continue moving on up. How did Apple do today? Apple kind of holding the 150s, trying to get above that 150 and close, but not really getting on up there. We'll see if it can continue making a move and get back up there. The one that I liked today was Plug Power, showing some good moves lately. If you look at this on the daily chart, we're really starting to start grinding on up. Now that we're up here towards the 41, we're going to see if Plug can continue moving on up. And for that being mentioned, of course, Palantir having a good day. This one was decent, but it did turn around right out the gates. It looked like it wanted to break out, but now it's starting the recovery. This is, I think, a good pullback opportunity, because if it gets through that high that we got yesterday on Palantir, so if we look back yesterday, we got a high of 26.65. That's what I'm going to be looking for us to get right back on through tomorrow. If we can get back through that, this will still be looking great. Palantir, I think, could get hot and could make a move to 30 and 40s. We'll see what happens with these. Of course, yes, I know, man, this voice is too much. I don't know how you guys saw that, and it's how it is. What's going on out there? How we doing? That's how I sound on nitrous. Just go with it. There's only one thing I could do, right? I mean, at the end of the day, what am I going to do? You got a dart in your neck? Pretty much. It hit me. What's going on, Mitch? Have you checked out your computer streaming service? Yeah, trust me. I checked my computer. If it was my computer, I would have already fixed it. K. Lopez, good looking out, Mitch. Hey, well, I'm at least here. I'll keep going for you guys. I personally would kind of stay away, but hey. Now, I did hear Candyman bringing up some stocks here. I'll touch on those before I get into kind of car and AMC. Let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about these. These are Bitcoin stocks. First one up, the leader is Mara right now. Mara has become the leader after what was the leader for a while was Riot. Riot was the leader. Now, Riot is looking really good today. I really like this move on up today. I'm thinking Riot is going to start pushing on up through that 33.79 resistance tomorrow. So look for a nice 2-day move, 3-day move, and we'll see if this one can start pushing towards, let's say, 35 tomorrow. Riot, I really do like this trade. It's setting up nice, and we'll see if this one can get moving. But also mentioned another strong one recently, Hut. Hut has continued to move on up there towards 1533s. One that I'm looking for it to continue is Hive. Hive's another one that pushed on up today. Nice little breakout push there through the 4. Look to see if this can continue making moves on up towards 5. And then after that, 575 for that breakout through that February time. Another one that I'd be looking at is BTCM. This is one that I'm looking to see if it gets hot tomorrow. See if we make a move on up to 10 and then start breaking out. But there's a bunch of these. If you like more expensive, less risky plays, I think this one is a prime time chart right here. This is Microvast. Microvast making a move on up here. And you guys can follow this one. This is a more expensive one. You're talking about a $795 stock today. But definitely pushing on up today, giving you a really strong sign. I like 750s to kind of go off of for risk. And you could see this one pushing on up. And if it does, it could get on up there towards 1200. This could be a very stock that can kind of lead and continue pushing in the Bitcoin kind of push and the crypto phase that we're seeing right now. So I'll definitely be paying attention to these, and we'll see. Money, look at Playboy. I've been looking at Playboy for a while now. We've been calling it out on pre-market prep. How did Playboy do today? Did we get another day, another green day? Yes, it looks great. We've been talking about this kind of chart since this first kind of pop. We first saw this pop, and then we saw the pullback. Then we got another pop. Now the pullback, another push. So you see how it's keep doing this kind of push and pull kind of move. Now it's looking good. Why? The 200 days right underneath it, giving us that nice lift. So I'd use that 27.85, or you could use that 200-day moving average at 28.34 as your support now. Looking for this to make a move back up towards 40. That's where I could see it kind of at least getting on up to. Then you'll run into some prior support that is now going to act as resistance. And then I could see this one start struggling a little bit there. We'll see if it gets on up there. What's going on, Twillo? Twillo is not a bad stock, but let me see how it's been lately. One of the things with Twillo, and I have to see the earnings, it's probably earnings that knocked it down here, is will it fill this gap? That's the first thing you need to pay attention to. Can it fill that gap right back up there towards 340s? We'll see what happens. One of the ones that I'd watch for is PayPal. See how that one continues. But Twillo doesn't really move with that one. It's kind of more of an Internet of Things kind of thing. And I think this has just been on a run and now is starting to really come back down towards massive support. Look at the monthly chart and you'll start seeing kind of how it pulled back here, but it could pull back some more. I think it could come back down closer towards, let's say, this 249, maybe 250 before it comes back on up in this area. So I'd be seeing for a pullback in Twillo. Right now, it's not really what I'd see it. Man, PayPal killing me. Yeah, PayPal is a tough one. One of the things is it's turning around, and it doesn't look good because of all the news, at least from what I saw in Visa. Visa, I think, is going to start cracking down with that DOJ talk about cryptocurrencies and payment services kind of accepting crypto and them kind of regulating it and DOJ trying to step in. I'd be careful with these. So you never know what's going to happen, but definitely you can take a look. Viacom being talked by Patrick. I'll take a look at Viacom at the end. Save it, Patrick. Make sure you mention it, and I'll take a look at it in a couple seconds. We got about 10 minutes left because I got into here late. So, yeah, you guys can blame Money Mitch for being late. I love the earlier comment. Money Mitch can be in everybody else's show, but can't show up for his own. Hey, that's how it is sometimes, Patrick, talking about in here, Mitch, I seem to recall you not being an AMC fan back in June. Am I right? If so, what has caused the change of tune? Great question, Patrick. I think that's an awesome question to ask. And it's true. I was speculative really early on. And even into, I don't know if it was into June, but let's just say June. All the way up into June, there was a time when I really started taking a look at these kind of meme plays, and not only the meme plays, but more along looking at the psychology behind the meme plays, because that's what's important to me. I always like looking at trading psychology and seeing how traders go after it. I know you guys are probably cracking up now because my voice is probably screwed up, so this doesn't sound any bit smart, but this is what I was looking for. I was looking for a change in sentiment. One of the things that got me bearish on AMC in the first place was what theoretical releases, right? And theoretical releases were moving what to straight to the consumer in Disney Plus. They had HBO. Everything was looking like it was going to lead to where the movies were never going to be exclusive for the theaters anymore, and it was going to be purely coming straight towards the consumer at home. And this is not what happened. It started adjusting. I think part of this had to do with the battle between Disney and the contract in Black Widow with that actress, Scarlett Johansson. They were battling back and forth. The way the contracts are set up, it's set up for it to be a theoretical release in the movie theaters. Reason why is because when you release it in the movie theaters, that's how the actors make their money. That's how their contract was set up in the first place. When we started going straight to streaming, what ended up happening is actors needed to either change their contracts the way that they were set up, or they needed to start renegotiating their contracts to try to battle with the production companies because they were going to send it straight to home. When this happened, I think AMC and I'm sure a bunch of lobbying happened here. AMC had to have pushed on them, being like, we need it back exclusive. That's when you started seeing the change, where you started seeing Free Guy coming into the movie theaters and being only exclusive in the movie theaters. That's, to me, the change in story here that has changed me. And one of the things that you have to always be is be kind of neutral at some point. At some point, you need to look at your story and seeing if it's flipped. To me, it's flipped here, and it's actually pointing to the upside, not the downside anymore. It's not pointing towards, releases going straight to streaming. They're usually always going to get released in the movie theaters first and then brought to streaming. That right there within itself is going to keep that exclusivity that I think will bring the consumer to the movie theaters. So, Patrick, great question there. Why have I changed my tune? Is because of that. Another thing is if you look at the setups, a lot of what I talk about are, you see pumps and dumps a lot of times, right? Pumps and it goes right back down. A perfect example of this would have been a stock like, let's say, CEI. That stock pumped up and came right back down. So this is the difference between AMC and GME for that instance. We've been seeing these stocks holding sideways for months now, guys. This has been months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months sideways. And it's showing what? A holding pattern. And if you see it, it's a multi-time frame pattern. It's a pattern that shows up on the weekly. It shows up on the monthly. It shows up on the daily. It shows up on the hourly. All these traders are all watching for that same move. So to me, the psychology points to the upside now versus the downside. If we look at GME, right? We could look at GME. Look how GME is starting to hold. What did GME do? It did the same thing. Sideways action, and it's showing what? A breakout. If we get on up here through this 220 area, next thing you know, we're up here towards 300. Look how this is going to be looking, guys. I'll just draw a rectangle on up there. But this definitely could be that move on up that we're looking for. Can we get that next candle to get on up there? And so that's what I'm looking at, and that's why I'm giving the tune on the upside. I think GME. I like AMC. I think GME leads us here. One thing I said yesterday was we wanted to see GME close above 200, because yesterday, what did it do? It closed right there at 209. Today, we go below it, 191 on the low side, but the high side goes to 211, and we close at 207.32. That's what I wanted to see, guys. Let's see if we can continue to see GME run and AMC run. I'm in this one, guys. I got already up about 5%. I looked to even add today, but I wasn't able to get an ad. I put out an order at 37.19, but it really quickly went through that level, and I wasn't able to get my ad. Now we're trading up at 38.87s here in the after hours. I really just wanted to see it close above 38s. That gives me that sign that we're still in that bullish sense. Next stop, of course, is going to be into the 40 area. Once we get into this 40 area, we're going to run into this prior resistance up in this area. This is when we really need to start seeing some catalyst or trend get us on through these levels so that we can make our way to 45. If we can get to 45, I do think I could see 50 and 60 coming into play. And of course, that's just the way I'm seeing it and AMC. All right, guys, going to go ahead and check it out. Mitch, match looks like a miss. Yeah, I know the Mitch symbol. How's it doing? Oh, it turned around, man. This one I liked it in summer, but I don't like it anymore. It's definitely going back down. Oof, this one might crack down that 130. Take cover. All right, guys, gonna go ahead and catch up. Ones get into 40. I'm looking at 46. There you go, Wardo. Go ahead and keep it into the moon. We'll see what happens. AMC ain't no rocket yet. I never said it was a rocket yet. Yet was the key word in that sentence. We'll take a look. What's your take on CAR? Let's get into CAR before we get on out of here. We got about 3 minutes left here. So I'm going to really quickly want to talk about the biggest and most important stock of the day, CAR. Ed, thank you for mentioning that in the chat. I'll go into this. Let's take a look. So as we can see, this stock really ripped. How could you have traded it at the open? I just want to show you guys that right out the back. One of my favorite day trading strategies is called the VWAP bounce play. So the VWAP bounce play is a lot to do with kind of looking for a stock that has good positive news. You're expecting a bounce and you get a direct move right out the gates, nice push on up, and then you're looking for the pullback. The pullback needs to come right to the VWAP. Hold right above VWAP or slightly below it, then push right back through the resistance. This is a quick trade. You're talking about at 9:35, so 5 minutes into the trade, you could have been attacking that support right by that VWAP or going in on this candle at 9:36. VWAP was there at 179.71. So you're talking about right underneath it. You guys could have started attacking and then looking for a support hold. Maybe you're risking towards 176 or from the open like that 174.98 price point. That's when you could see this stock really have taken off and really started getting towards the next level. Now, the real question is why, right? Why is this stock taking off? So this stock is really taking off. It has to do with short interest, guys. So when short interest, this stock on the first was at 58%. How do I know this? Because I got this from Market Structure Edge. If you guys didn't see that today, that segment on Power Hour, I would suggest you go back and you check that on our channel. He did go a little bit more in depth talking about this, and that's exactly what his service does, is check short interest and check demand in a stock. And you can see CAR that at that 58% short interest float, and it actually moved higher as the day went on. That's what really gave it that juice when it started squeezing. So as we've been looking at high short interest stocks and been looking for these to continue squeezing. This has been the play that a lot of Wall Street bets, the meme stocks, and a lot of this has been built around. So, of course, the hedge funds, or some, were probably short CAR because they thought it was too extended. It was up there, 58% of it shorted, pretty high. And as you can see, they jumped on it and started squeezing up. When you start getting that squeeze, what happens to all the shorts that are getting squeezed out? They go and they hit the buy button, which ends up bringing the momentum even higher. And that's how you start getting a rocket ship like CAR. It definitely ripped on up and took a massive leap. But hey, is this going to happen again? I think it could have maybe another round, but it's going to be tough to do it now that you've had so much volume flow through it. But it was about 30 million shares here that went through it, and we're talking about an expensive stock. So that's pretty high volume for an expensive stock. The last day, it was only trading 2.3 million. So we always talk about high relative volume, and this one had high relative volume. Definitely rip out the gates. If you would have been watching live trading, we called it out on this first 5-minute candle when we got up there towards 185 and then getting on up there towards 190. Then Spencer started calling out how it looked like a 200-day 200 target magnet, and I agreed with him. It started ripping, and then that's how we watched it all the way from 200 going on up there. I think we got off at like 10:30, so we got off when it was at 370. It eventually going up there towards a high on the day of 545.11. If I needed to attack this one and I just felt yes, I wanted to attack it, I'd attack it now on a 1-hour chart. Why? Because I'm trying to get away from some of the volatility and find where I can find support and have a good risk to return. So at this point, let's say if you were risking down towards this 314.16, you could be taking a risk that would be this box and a reward that would be this box. So you see it clearly, kind of like a 3-to-1 look. That's what you want to look when you're taking trades. That's all about profit to loss ratio. And I definitely pay attention to that because it gives you that advantage when you're setting up trades. Even big trades like this, you can take, just always have your out plan. That's what I always talk about. And so does Triple D. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. 432. I'm sending you guys to Planet 13 right now so that you guys can check out the tour on Planet 13 Cannabis. This is the biggest cannabis dispensary right here in Las Vegas. Check it out, guys. I'll send you guys on over, and we'll see you next time.